shoot. We've got the match that we've been waiting for. Carlitos Alcaraz versus Yannick Sinner in a major final for the first time. I know it seems crazy that hasn't happened yet, but here it is. In the French Open final, we've got these two guys. They just played in the Rome 2025 final, and Alcaraz came on top. Can Yannick Sinner flip the script? We'll see, and we're going to break down the match that Djokovic just played against Sinner, which was incredible, preview the final, and get stuck into the every detail imaginable, as well as with Sabalenka versus Goff. We've got a lot to get into. It's amazing. I cannot wait for these matches. So let's break them down. This is the slice presented by Betway. All right. I mean, where do we start? We had unbelievable semifinal matchups. Alcaraz versus Musetti, Sinner versus Djokovic. Sinner versus Djokovic delivered, I would say, even though it was only 3 sets. And I would say that Alcaraz Musetti delivered incredibly for 2 sets before Musetti's body kind of gave away on him. So one Italian is through to the final, but if you're an Italian tennis fan, you got to be thinking like, this is our dream. 2 out of the 4 semifinalists at the French Open on the men's side are Italian. One of them's in the final with, I think, a pretty good chance to win. Yannick Sinner comes through Novak Djokovic in 3 sets, but it wasn't really a straight set, easy victory for him now, was it? So we're going to break that down. But first, a message from our beautiful sponsors, Betway. If you're going to bet on the tennis in a responsible, respectful way, you should use Betway. The app is incredible. I'm looking at it here. They have all these details about the tournaments, when they were first held, the venue, all the prize money, all the details. So it's like an encyclopedia for tennis. And they've got the women's final odds out right now. And they've got Sabalenka as the favorite at -223 and Coco Gauff as the underdog at +175. So shout out to Betway. Check out the links below. And shout out to Go Sport. Here's my bag. Go Sport creates the best tennis bags in the world. And you can get one now for like 2 more days for 10% off, but through the link below using the code below. The bags look like sleek, like Batman, like they're just, this guy's a true player. They have customizable storage. So check out Go Sport tennis bags in the link below. But here we go again. Like I said, shoot. Here we go again. Alcaraz Sinner. It still blows my mind that this is the first time we've seen them in a major final. The first big final they played was in the last tournament they both played in Rome. And that was like, okay, here we go. This is a final. Hopefully we see like 30 more of these in their career. I would say the same thing goes for the major. This is, I would say, at the French Open, this is Alcaraz's territory, obviously, because he's won this last year. He's the current title holder. Sinner's never won a major outside of hardcourt. And if this was the Australian Open next year, 2026, I'd be like, okay, well, Sinner's probably he's probably the favorite here. He's won this tournament 2 times in a row, and Alcaraz hasn't won a title on hardcourt, a major title on hardcourt since, can you guess it? 2022 U.S. Open, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. He's won 4, U.S. Open 2022, Wimbledon 2023, French Open 2024, Wimbledon 2024. So he's got 4, Sinner's got 3, but this is clay. This is clay. But Sinner just played an incredible match versus Novak Djokovic, who also played an incredible match. So just a note on Novak. If you're a Novak fan, you should hold your head high. He played incredibly in this match. And for a 3-set match, that's got to be one of the tighter 3-set matches that we've seen, because Sinner could have easily lost a set, 2 sets, the match. And I think if Djokovic was playing any other player on the tour other than maybe Alcaraz, he probably would have won that match with the level he played at. So he's not even sure if he'll be back next year, but it's pretty crazy because he's looking like he can beat anyone on tour except for the top 2 guys, and he can still beat them. Just didn't today because Sinner played incredibly well. He's an incredible player, obviously, and the level that he's able to bring on the clay is incredible. So We got 6-4, 7-5, 7-6 for Sinner over Djokovic. And the first set was, to me, you saw Sinner being the more powerful player from the baseline, having more movement ability than Zverev did, and pushing Djokovic around a little bit from the baseline. As predicted, he stays closer to the baseline and was able to keep the ball in front of him and hit huge. His serve was going great. And if we bring up the stats here, in set one, first serves for Sinner actually weren't falling. He was only hitting 43% in, but when he got him in, he won 9 out of 10. So he won 90%. And he was also 85% on his second serve. So his serve was dominant, even if he wasn't making his first serve points. He hit 14 winners, 9 unforced errors, almost the inverse for Novak. So I do believe Novak was going for a lot. He was trying to hit the ball pretty big because he knew he had to compete with Sinner from the baseline. And I tweeted out during the match, I said, every time that Novak wins an extended point rally, like they had some incredible rallies that Novak would pull out, it seemed like win the battle, lose the war type of thing, because Sinner's 15 years younger than Novak, and Sinner's just like a taller, stronger, more powerful player at this stage of his career than Novak. So every time Novak would expend all this energy to win a point, you're like, okay, did that just lose you the next game or lose you the next 6 points? But no, Novak stayed in it. He stayed very tough. He was hitting the ball big, but Sinner was able to hang tough as well, because like I said, if he hadn't won majors already or beaten Novak in a major, I don't know if he would have been able to do it. So as the match went along, set two, Sinner still wasn't finding a lot of first serves, but was still, and is actually, and Djokovic got more into his serve percentages there. He won Sinner only 65% of his first serves and only 57% of his second. So a lot lower than the first set. Broke twice. They both broke twice. Or no, sorry. Sinner broke once. Sorry, Sinner broke twice. Djokovic broke once. But Sinner played not as clean. 15 unforced errors to 11 winners. And if you remember, Sinner was up a break, got broken back at 5-all, and then Sinner was able to break back and then serve it out. So that's a super close match. Up until the point where Djokovic broke back, you're thinking, okay, set and a break. How quick is this going to be? But he breaks back and then gets broken back again. So it's 2 sets to love. And then in the third set, Djokovic had 2 break points, and by break points I mean 2 set points at the end of it. So they stayed close all set. Wasn't able to convert those. Then it went to a tiebreak, and Sinner wins it. Sinner's first serve percentage, win percentage, went high, but still his first serve make percentage was very low. But got back to hitting more winners than unforced errors. And then for the match, his first serve in was only 51%, but he still won a very high percent of his second serve. That's 63%. So that's quality. His second serve kick, he hits these big kind of kicking, heavy second serves that seem to be pretty consistent for him. And he's able to get success with that. Win in 3 sets versus Novak Djokovic. So yeah, that was the prediction I had, that Sinner would win. But Djokovic played a hell of a match. So kudos to him. So he'll go to Wimbledon next, where he probably has more of a chance, I would say, against Sinner and Alcaraz. But still, as Alcaraz has showed the last 2 years, he's the top dog there. So going over to Alcaraz Musetti, I mean, I was very, very impressed by Musetti for 2 sets. He was clearly the better player in the first set, and 6-4, and then he was, equally as impressive in the second set, which went to a tiebreak, but Alcaraz squeaked it out. And I seriously had the feeling whoever wins the second set is going to win the match, because 2 sets to love up for Musetti. I mean, if his body had gone on him like it did eventually anyways, then Alcaraz probably would have come back. But really Musetti's, the level that he was bringing was incredible, and he was pushing Alcaraz around. Alcaraz was making playing a lot. He just didn't have his game really. He wasn't making any first serves, 41% in the first set to 71%. And then if you go to the winners to unforced errors, 16 unforced errors to 8 winners for Alcaraz, and they both actually had half as many winners as unforced errors, but Musetti was just a bit more solid. So the second set, if we look at the stats here, Alcaraz found his first serve, made 65% of those, winning 63, which is a lot better. But break points converted in this second set. I don't think that stat is right. Or no, yeah, it was. Yeah, they both broke twice. So they get to a tiebreaker in a very topsy-turvy way, and they both hit more winners than unforced errors. So the second set level elevated. Musetti matched Alcaraz, but then it just came down to a tiebreak, and Alcaraz gets him. So that's what has like defined Alcaraz's career in the majors so far, is his clutch ability in the biggest moments. Comes to a tiebreaker, both guys are playing great, fantastic tennis to watch. I mean, the shot making is just incredible. Musetti's ability to defend his backhand up high, lobbing single-handed backhands back to Alcaraz, and then changing it up, coming through it, and going down the line, incredible. Alcaraz just freak all around the court. So these two guys are like the definition of clay court tennis, how it should be played. That's what I felt like I was watching. And just a total delight. Alcaraz comes through in the tiebreaker in the second set, turned the screw, and then, yeah, really felt like he ran from there 6-0, 2-0. Musetti didn't win another game. So, yeah, Alcaraz and Sinner into the final. Both guys probably need to serve better because they both couldn't find their first serve as a getting it in percentage. So this is going to sound so dumb, but I think whoever wins on Sunday will be the guy who plays better. That's not always the case. Sometimes there's a far better player than the other, and the far better player doesn't have to play their best to win, or doesn't even have to play better relative to their level compared to the other guy to win. But I think in this case they do. Like if Alcaraz plays at an 8 out of 10 level and Sinner plays at a 9 out of 10 level, I think Sinner's going to win. I don't think it's a big enough gap on the clay for Alcaraz to be able to mess around and still get a win here, because Sinner's he's got, it'll depend some on the conditions, and he did just lose at Rome, but he's figuring things out. He's getting back into match playing. He's won a lot of matches since coming back from his suspension. He's only lost one to Alcaraz, but also the head-to-head is continuing to stack up in Alcaraz's favor. He's won their last 4 matches going back to 2023. The last time Sinner won was 2 matches in a row in 2023 at Miami and at Beijing, both on outdoor hard. So coming into this, I would say Alcaraz is the favorite, but just slightly. And Sinner has lots of ways that he can hurt Alcaraz. He can hurt him from the baseline with power. He can go play off both wings, hitting incredible angles. One of the things that Sinner did so well today that impressed me was Djokovic would jump on serves, hit great returns, and then Sinner would be able to react, hit the ball cross court to where Djokovic wasn't, with pace, with quality, and then come in behind it. Like all the punches that Djokovic took were met with a response from Sinner he was balanced on the clay, he was ready to do it, and I think he's going to need to be like that tomorrow or on Sunday versus Alcaraz, because Alcaraz is going to be throwing those same punches, but with even heavier balls and more speed and athleticism around the court. So I'm just hoping for a war, because this is the first major final they've played in, and it's historic, right? The first major final. These are what people remember when they're hopefully at the end of their career. We'll have like 10 plus of these. This is going to be the first one of this stature in their head-to-head. So we're going to see. But if I had to bet my life on it, I would put it on Alcaraz. He's already won here at Roland Garros. He won in their match last year here. He won in Rome on clay, and he's won their last 4 matches. But you'd be an idiot to think that Sinner doesn't have a great chance. And he's already won majors. He's already beaten Alcaraz multiple times. So Sinner believes he can win. I'm sure Alcaraz knows he can win. And Yeah, may the best man win. I really think whoever brings it their best level on Sunday is going to get it done. So yeah, that is a preview and a prediction for Sinner Alcaraz. Now we go to Sabalenka, Coco Gauff. And to be clear, I have not watched too much of either of their matches this week or the last 2 weeks. But from what I saw in Sabalenka versus Swiatek, the aggression that she's playing with and is able to sustain will be suffocating for Coco Gauff. If Coco can't be accurate with her first serving and her second serving, Sabalenka is just teeing off and returns, and that's what she did against Swiatek. And then throughout the rallies, she's just pounding to big open spaces and playing like the number one player in the world. But we've got number one versus number two on both sides, so it's incredible. Coco Gauff on the clay, her athleticism should come through, so this is going to be a battle. And if I believe when Coco Gauff won the U.S. Open 2023, she beat Sabalenka in the final. Or that was in 2023. That was 2024. Or 2022. What am I missing here? Nope, would have been 2024. Anyways, I might be messing that up, but or is it Coco? Yeah, I don't know what I'm missing here. Anyways, that's a little awkward, but I think the last time they play, if I go Gauff versus Sabalenka head to head, they're 5-5, which is great, even head to head, and Coco Gauff defeated, Sabalenka at the U.S. Open in the final. Yeah, there we go, in 2023. So yeah, she has done it. She has beaten her in a major final before, so she knows she can do it. Sabalenka has also beaten Coco Gauff in the semifinals of the Australian Open, so she knows she can do it. This would be, though, Sabalenka's first major title off of a hard court, and I thought it was going to come. My prediction was that it would come at Wimbledon this year, so she could do it ahead of schedule in my books, do it here at the French Open, and I think she's got a good chance to do it. I would pick Sabalenka to win. So I'm going Sabalenka on the women's side, Alcaraz on the men's side, but both matches could go the other way, and both matches I'm hoping will be close and will be wars and will be super high quality. So that's all I got. I think that's a good overview of how we got here. But yeah, may the best player win on Saturday and Sunday. But for now, that's all I've got as far as a preview to Alcaraz, Sinner, Sabalenka, Swiatek. No huge title this year. I do believe Alcaraz is going to beat Sinner, but not willing to hang my hat on it because I am extremely confident in Sinner as well. So we'll see you after the finals here on The Slice. Thank you for your continued support and being tuned in here. We'll see you next time.